Okay, so this video will be talking about cards, and necessarily a walkthrough about crafting cards. So, I have one deck, and this is my PvP deck, and the other one is my PvE deck. These are the cards that I have for my PvE deck, whereas these are for my PvP. As you can notice, I have like the Guardians of the Galaxy card in both of them. I think of it as a hybrid card, because it pretty much offers me all basic, and I think the other one does so too. Yeah, so that's what I just necessarily slapped it on for. But as you can see here, I guess a little bit of crash course for cards. The numbers here exhibiting 7 is the highest roll that you could get. Like I have a 7, 6, 7, 7, 7. Same here. Now, the colors here indicate different things. The blue one is that most common coloring that you'll see for a person having in their card set. It just means that if they have an all basic, blue, it basically increases their pierce. All blue stats on the card gives you 5% pierce, while having 3 gives you 2% pierce. It is important to note that regardless of whatever the coloring you get, you don't want bad stats like a lightning resist, poison resist, etc., etc. You never want to get any form of something that says resist, because you're not getting the best, possible value out of those stars. So you get a critical rate or a cooldown duration, which is highly, needed, especially if you do something like PvP. Cooldown duration you would want to get immediately. On top of that, you can either go with the blue. I don't really necessarily recommend trying to go for all green because it just sucks. All red though is kind of interesting because if I understand it correctly, if you have all red, that means your concentration. So let me see if I can find it in one card like this one. I get 2% concentration increase. What this basically means is that if you have like a mighty or a brilliant, you'll be exhibiting more damage if you have that on a selected character. So I have a brilliant rage on Captain Marvel. Because I have a concentration, it's just gonna boost that damage that she has. Whereas, a Pierce is just gonna, I don't need a mighty or a brilliant for it to, work or function. Concentration, you'll only see the results if it has a mighty or brilliant sort of, CTP. So, you always want to strive for blue. If you get red, it's literally just up to you and, hope you know what you're doing. But you want blue for Pierce. It's going to make your World Boss Legend runs and your GBR runs and anything pretty much that is PvE content less much of a task for you, and you won't be having much more of a difficult time. There are some characters that offer native pierce, like Gwenpool. 14% damage pierce. So yeah, that's pretty much important. Now for cards, I have some cards here. I'm gonna upgrade these. I usually do my runs in Dimension Mission, and that's where I get most of these cards. And because I accumulate a bunch of cards when I do these runs, I always just craft them I convert them into a higher card. But on top of that, you could always go to Dispatch Mission. I didn't mean to claim my rewards, dang. But sometimes you get lucky and you get in the Dispatch shop. Sometimes you get, what you need. Like an obelisk here. And sometimes you could get like a card here. Oh, okay, well, another obelisk, which don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind. Actually, I'm going to just take everything from here. Mine. Okay, refresh. Okay, no cards, but good ticket. Okay, no card again is crazy. There you go. See, you don't, I wouldn't recommend for you to refresh. Always use your free refresh. But as you can see here, 6-star card for like 600k. Never waste crystals on these cards. Literally, it's a waste. But this is one way you can get, cards, farm them. Another way is multiverse invasion. After you're done with like a minute worth of gameplay, or 2 minutes, I think, you're just given some sort of reward. Sometimes you get a list of cards, either like a 1-star or a 4-star, and you can just, use that as fodder towards crafting a 6-star. And I know I have a Bucky one right here. Here you go, Bucky one. This is really badly crafted, but because I bought it from the shop, about, pre-crafted card, I'll tell you right now, never, really, never try to roll all blue before you have a 7-star card, okay? Never do that. It just wastes your time. Like, it's too much effort on your end to, recraft it. So let's see, like I have, let's see, what could I do differently? Let's do this one. This is a really bad card, all right? I won't lie. And not in like the card itself, but like the card crafted stars that I've got. So for educational purposes, I'm gonna select an option. Now, this is pretty much why I don't really necessarily, I know, some of you guys are very itchy and, maybe I get lucky and I get all blue. Sometimes not really much the case. I'm just going to settle with what I got and, individually, each by bit, re-roll. All right. Now let's see. I have 4 blue. All I need is 1 blue or 2 blue, and I get a 5% Pierce Edition. Now, it's highly unlikely that I'll get it, but it's better than anything that I have right now. Critical rate and mind resist. I didn't get no blue, so I didn't get an additional Pierce. Yeah, but that's basically what happens when we re-roll with a pre-card on another P-card. The whole sole purpose of doing that is to get a blue star. Or a red star, depending if that's how you play. But yeah. Now right here, critical damage, critical defense. I could keep going and I could re-roll for a 7 or a 6, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Because it's really tedious to keep re-rolling. And on top of that, I don't have enough cards to do that. I know I have 80, but 80 is not enough. Especially when trying to craft for a card that's a 7, you don't get lucky. And if you do get lucky, you get bad stats on a 7 rated card. So I would probably aim for you to get 200 to even do any sort of consideration for that. And there you go. There you have it. That's a little bit of a crash course on cards. Not too much, but I'll probably do an in-depth one when I do have a capture card or something like that. So